following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Well, not so much with that intro here at high noon at the Star in Frisco, Texas. It is Mixed Shots. That's with an X, M-I-X-E-D. We are mixed today on Mixed Shots here in the SWBC podcast studio. I'm Mickey Spagnola. Nate Newton is in Bill Jones's chair.
Hi, how you doing, Mickey?
And Kristi Scales is in Everson's chair. So the plan was to have mixed shows here on Monday after the bye. It was supposed to be myself, Bill Jones, and Kristi Scales, but Bill got SOS'd to Houston for Game 7 of the American League Championship Series. So he won't be here today or tomorrow. He's got baseball duty.
And we're grateful that there's a Game 7 tonight.
That's
so that's
exactly
good.
right.
That's good. We did not want Bill back here today. No offense to Bill, but it means they keep playing and deciding game tonight, so it's super exciting.
And Kristi's talking about the Texas Rangers with a 9-2 win on Sunday over the Astros, and Game 7 is tonight. You pay attention to baseball?
No, I don't, but I'm happy for the Ranger fans. I'm really excited for them that they're doing well.
That was pretty good drama last night with the Rangers going into the ninth inning with a 4-2 lead. They made it 5-2, and Adolis Garcia comes up with the bases loaded after he struck out 4 times with mighty swings, by the way, on every one of those strikeouts. He didn't get cheated. He didn't hit the ball. He didn't get cheated. And as he came up with the bases loaded in the ninth in a 5-2 game, I was sitting there watching it, and he's getting booed and booed and booed for the little dust-up they had 2 days ago. And I said to myself, you know what, buddy? Just knock the S out of this ball. And he did. Grand slam home run. How about that?
And shut that crowd up quickly. In fact, some of
Sent them home.
Yeah, they literally were turned and walking up the aisles before the ball landed in the stands.
They sent them on their way home for a 9-2 Rangers win.
That's great. I'm happy for you fans. I really am. I've seen your pain over the years.
And there was pain on
Friday.
Oh, that was terrible.
I had to call certain people 4 and 5 times. Like, hey, man, I understand.
You okay? You good?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our baseball talk, and we getting back to business after the Cowboys bye over the weekend. They haven't done anything since the game Monday night, right? In practice Tuesday or Wednesday. They had to be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I didn't see a lot of activity out here today.
No, they're here for their across-the-hall meetings.
That's right.
And then what they did, PR, instead of having the in-person press conferences, changed with Coach McCarthy and then having players available, they changed it to conference calls. So not a lot of media out here either. But, Nate, with these across-the-hall meetings, did you used to have those back in your day where the offensive players would meet with defensive players on the Cowboys staff and get some self-scouting and some pointers from people
the
on
other
the opposite side of the hall?
coaches,
So,
yeah.
for example, as an offensive lineman today, you would be going in front of Adam Dirty, who is the defensive line coach for the Cowboys, who's done some scouting work on you to give you some pointers, or if you're giving off, tipping off anything like that.
Great.
Did you guys have any kind of across the hall meetings?
No. That's great, though. That is really innovative. I mean, and who better to know you than your own coaches who've seen you all since the OTAs, and seeing what you need to work on and what you need to improve. You just got to take it to heart, and make sure you take out the finer points of what they've given you and and go to work on it.
You know, we always talked about one of Jimmy's best quality was self-scouting.
Yes.
Not so much the other team, but scouting his own team and being real about it too. Not sitting there going, "Well, these are my guys. They're all good."
Right. Jimmy was good at that, and you know that usually happened. Halfway through, he'll do a big self-scouting. Not a first buy, he would do a big self-scouting, and you know, he'll tell us, but it would be not so much individually, even though he did that all during the year. But, you know, as a whole, what we needed to do offensively or defensively or special team-wise, what we needed to add on or take away. So.
And be realistic of what you could do against the next opponent, right?
Yes. That's the key to it, to look at yourself and say, okay, we're not this, but we are this, and we can do this, and we can't do that. And that's him with him and Norv and Coach Wanstad. They were great at that. Them adjustments, them little tweaks, you know, to help you be a better player.
So, other than that, not a lot of football going on. Oh, and after all this time off, they have a day off tomorrow.
Yeah, now we're back on the regular schedule, so to speak, in terms of Monday is basically kind of like a 2/3 or a half day normally used to review what happened the day before. Then players have Tuesday off. Coaches are finalizing the game plan through Tuesday night, and then Wednesday starts day one of game plan installation. So it'll be back to that normal routine this week, although at least the coaches did get a head start on the Rams. The Rams dropped a game at home to the Steelers yesterday, so coming off a loss and getting a couple of key players back from injury, but still missing some key players on offense. They have Cooper Kupp back, but a lot of injuries there at running back. But at least now it's the Cowboys coaches who have the advantage in terms of extra time to prepare, because before going into a bye, there were some times where they were going on a short week or things like that. So we'll see what kind of plan they can put together for the Rams, who come to town on Sunday at AT&T Stadium, and it's a noon kickoff. We don't get too many of those, so finally get one of those.
We don't. Yes, and so this notion about how much can you improve over the bye? Well, there's no practicing over the bye. So, they get back to practice, as Kristi said, on Wednesday, Thursday, basically the same schedule. They just don't have to travel. And, that first part of the season, 4 of the 6 games were on the road. Now 5 of the next 7 are at home. So, no coast-to-coast traveling, getting in at 4 o'clock in the morning the next morning after a game. So if they were smart, they should be well rested and ready to go. Kristi mentioned the Rams got beat by Pittsburgh 24-17. They dropped to 3-4, and they've lost 2 of their last 3 games to the Eagles and to the Steelers. So it's not quite the Rams team we remember. They got wiped out at running back with injuries, and they ended up re-signing, is it Darrell Henderson?
Yeah, Darrell Henderson, who actually had a good game yesterday.
18 for 61. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he played well. He played well. They had to sign him last week because they've been without Kyron Williams and Ronnie Rivers, and so and then another one of their players was inactive.
Who?
Which say
they're running backs that they're without.
Yeah,
it's like who are those guys?
Yeah, but basically had to. And Henderson, if that name is familiar to you, it's because he had played with the Rams before, but he was a free agent, and they end up having to bring him back. But
wait, he wasn't the guy that came off the couch in the playoff game, was it?
I think so.
The other guy that ran over the Cowboys.
That was one of the games out there where. The Cowboys couldn't stop them on the ground, but they haven't had as many injuries as they had along the offensive line last year. That's what really killed them last season. But this new young wide receiver who has really stepped up before they got Cooper Kupp back from his injury, this Puka Nacua. Oh my gosh! If I were a Rams fan, I'd be ordering his jersey right now. I mean, he's 58 catches so far, just 2 scores, but 4 games of at least 100 yards, and man, is he fun to watch. Pretty good size, and just fearless over the middle there. He made this toe-tapping catch along the sideline yesterday, and it's like, how in the world did he come down with that football? And they're going to review it, and it's going to be incomplete. And then you watch the super slow-mo, and you see him get his toe down. I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup with the Cowboys secondary this week, because now Cooper Kupp is back and relatively healthy, but this Puka Nacua, he has really, really shown up. So it's going to be tough with Matthew Stafford having all of those weapons.
One thing I did notice, I didn't realize it till I saw the stats on the game. Brett Maher's their kicker.
Oh, boy, he had a tough day yesterday. He missed 3 out of 4.
Missed
3 of 4.
two field goals, I believe it was.
Yeah, he did.
So
and then he
checking the waiver wire?
And then he missed an extra point, too.
Yeah.
Have you been checking the waiver?
Yeah, right. See if he's still there.
He missed
poor
a
guy.
53-yarder, 51-yarder, as Mick said, one of the extra points, and it was tough, and it's not one where you can say, oh, the snap was off. I mean, it looked like the operation was good, but felt bad for him because he's, one of my favorite guys among the recent Cowboys that have been here. But when he missed the extra point, it's like, oh, man, now everybody's going to start talking about the playoff game last year. And, of course, they did. So, and it came back to bite him, those points, because that was 7 points off the board, right, with the 2 missed field goals and the extra point, and ultimately they
At least one of the
7.
field goals I saw hit the upright.
It did. It doinked off the left upright. That was the first one, the 53-yarder. So very tough day for our buddy Brett.
So looking at the NFC East, obviously the Eagles won. So they moved to 6-1, 31-17 over Miami. That's kind of an impressive win.
It was very impressive.
The way the Dolphins have been playing.
Did you watch any of it, or were y'all watching the baseball?
I was watching baseball. Actually, I was doing both at the same time.
What'd you
Jordan
see?
Davis, Fletcher Cox, the Carter kid. They just,
Does that bring back memories?
People. When you can line up and just tell a team, you're not running. You got 2 elite wide receivers and a nice tight end. Try them, because nothing that first quarter and a half they said no. Number 90, is that Jordan Davis?
Yeah.
Jordan. Woo! That is real. That is a man full grown, and it was going against backups. And that just made it even worse, because I think Miami was missing 3 starters. And they're like, not this. They just told them not. Maybe with your starters, you can have a little bit more success. But that's where they won the game. In the first quarter and a half, and I think Miami lost the receiver for a little bit. And it was all about Tyreek Hill and the running back, I can't think his name, they got him from the 49ers. He still had a nice day catching the ball. Yes.
Raheem Mostert.
Yes. How does that kid jump around the way he does? He is an elite athlete.
Well, to show how that defense performance was even better, they really only gave up 10 points because 7 of them were an interception return for a touchdown.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's 31-10.
So for everybody that and I can tell people, people say, my wife, you must love the Eagles. No. I love when you know who you are and you can demand certain things. And that's what I'm just praying that the Cowboys can do. But now I wonder with the loss of Diggs, because now I'm looking at more and more how the loss of Diggs have really, really affected our team. You are asking more of our safeties, and then when you lose Leighton, it just stretches our safeties thinner and thinner and thinner. To now, we don't look like that fundamental big 3 safeties that we normally have. So that Diggs thing, that knocked the sales out of these guys, because we were already a team built to have leads, and if we had leads, then we could just unleash that fury of our defense. But now, when everything is tick and tack, you as a defensive coordinator, you just can't be flashing all around and have everybody just shooting from every angle. You got to take care of your runs. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah, that Diggs thing was a big loss.
And the Eagles' run game, too, in which Jalen Hurts. I know he finished with 11 rushes. Now, 3 of them were kneel downs at the end, but you just can't
5
stop.
of them were 1-yard pushes.
Yeah, the push-tush.
Let me tell you.
Tush-push. But it's unstoppable. And, they talk about leverage and whoever has the lower pad level. I'm sorry, some of those Dolphins, they were low and they still couldn't stop them.
The thing, they got it. In another year, they may not have it. I mean, either the league or take it away or whatever, but they just got it right now. It's that thing they got, we ain't never seen it before in this league where one team got this certain thing that no one else can do. It starts with the center. That little dude, we laugh at him.
Yeah.
He's 6'3", 4", 290 pounds at the most. That's probably, on a heavy day. But he moves the biggest of guys. It don't matter. And so they just got something special there. But
that thing is an injury waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Because you know what's happening. Yeah, because you know what's happening. If you notice, everybody's starting to dive over the top and try to grab him before he can get down and hide.
Right.
Well, the thing about Jalen Hurts is the reports came out after the game that he played that second half with a brace on his knee, on his leg. And so, of course, he's downplaying it when asked about it in the locker room afterwards. But, yeah, you've got your franchise quarterback, and that's arguably your most reliable play. But how many more times can you have him out there and ask him to do that? But they relied on it last night. It was 3 or 4 of those that they had.
It seemed like
they
10.
They converted 3 of them, I think, on the same series.
One of them. Remember, they wasn't going to do it, and then they called the timeout.
In their own territory.
Yeah, but
they had to do it twice because there's penalties on both plays.
Right.
Offsetting penalties. So a second time.
But see, Swift is the difference maker.
Yeah.
Did he make it out of that game?
I think he finished the game.
Swift is
getting him from the Lions. What a great
Did you not? I did not know how tough he was and how elusive he was. I did not know that. I did not see that in Detroit. And but when I tell people, when you have an offensive line, and that is why the Eagles and Philadelphia has to jump on us right now. I just hope that our offensive line took very good care of themselves. They didn't need to practice. That's one time I'm going to say, fellas, crowd chamber, ice tub, whatever, just get healthy. Our offensive line need to get healthy, because our right tackle, I'm telling people you can't judge him. He just come off a major injury, so I'm not going to judge him. Like last year, I wasn't judging him. I'm not going to judge Michael Gallup. Not coming off a major knee injury. I don't care what today's technology is, And the gentleman at the right guard, he's beat up, and our center is just a little bit above average. And when you dealing with a player of that nature, injury crushes that edge that they have. So, the normal edge that Biotish has, he's kind of lost it. Our left guard is our left guard. He's physical, he's tough. And our left tackle is just getting older. I mean, you ain't going to beat Father Time. So they needed this rest. They needed to look at film and to kind of call Coach Solari if they can and say, hey, what do I need to work on? Or what do I need to be looking at? Because we ain't going no further than this offensive line, y'all. I mean, you can put everywhere. It's 2 things, that kid Diggs and our offensive line. That's what I gathered just by thinking about this bye week. This thing really wrecked us when Diggs went down and our offensive line not playing as good as we think it should be playing.
Let's pick up with that offensive line talk here on Mixed Shots when we return in a moment.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
Mick Shots is also presented by K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Kristi Scales along with Nate Newton, and we are filling in for Bill and Savannah. Why are you laughing, Nate? Because the one radio person messed up?
Will prevent leaks and all of that, but they can't prevent Mick from invading your ears at this point in time.
That's good.
But see, they proudly present Mick Shots.
Yeah,
so.
Right.
So we got a Monday night game tonight, is that right?
Yes, sir.
We got San Francisco, Minnesota. And they say McCaffrey's going to play in spite of the oblique injury. So we'll see how effective he can be if in fact he does start.
Going into that game, then, there's only 3 teams in the league with 1 loss. Kansas City 6-1, the Eagles are 6-1, and San Francisco is 5-1. So with the Cowboys at 4-2 in the standings, right? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams with just 2 losses.
Kristi.
How about that?
Kristi, tell Mick to let it go. This dude got a newspaper, y'all. He got all this tech.
All the high tech. But Mick, look, Lenovo has provided us our buddy Gerald Youngblood at Lenovo. We have our brand new computers
but
that we can use.
I don't have to call it up, find a
Gerald.
website. I got it all right here.
But you can go to your phone and ask Siri to do you in.
But then I got to make sure I've got a connection.
You have a connection
spin.
because you got your phone on.
Mick Shots brought to you by Old School Broadcasting.
That's right. Newspaper business, buddy.
Miss Kristi, I see you're a little bit more up to date.
Not much more, but
a little bit,
there we go. Yeah. I also am one of the few people that still takes the delivery, the newspaper where they throw it in your yard, in your driveway.
Yeah, when they decide to bring it.
Hey.
He got the newspaper and still criticized.
There you go.
Wow, Mick.
Well, sometimes the delivery's not real reliable.
Okay.
Your computer's more reliable.
Okay.
Thank
Use
you, Gerald.
it.
Thank you, Gerald. Thank you, Lenovo.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe
all right.
Amazon shouldn't deliver your paper because they're pretty reliable.
Oh, they probably should.
You know?
Yeah. Next day delivery, like prescriptions or things like that. All right, we are in the SWBC podcast studio here on this Monday. And if anybody would like to give us a call, 888-855-2297. We were talking about the NFC East. We talked about the Eagles winning. And in the other game, anybody watch that?
No, New York.
Giants, Washington?
I did, unfortunately.
That was the noon game, right?
It was.
Check your cough button, Kristi.
Yeah.
14-7. The Giants finally won another game. 14-7.
But hasn't the Giant had success against the Redskins recently, or just me guessing that?
No, they actually, that's one of the few teams that they've have had success. They actually got their offense going in the second half. Tyrod Taylor actually looked pretty good. They took some shots down the field, and so to the rookie wide receiver, and so they were able to get some chunk yardage in that game. But that was some ugly football. But made it tight at the end. But I have to admit, I was rooting for the Giants because, with just one win going into that game and the Washington with 3, it was in the Cowboys' best interest to have the Washington team lose one of the games in the standings. So that's what happened. But, yeah, nice win at home for the Giants.
2-5 Giants, 3-4 Washington.
Yes. Yeah, that's all I can say. I'm still old school, and I just believe that you do what you have to do as in this house, So, like my wife, when she was going for the Steelers, oh, come on, Steelers, come on. I'm like, you like the Steelers? Oh, no, they're going against the Rams because that's who playing the Cowboys next. I'm like, maybe we need for the Rams to win so they'll be big-headed if we can get them in. I don't know. Cowboys do what they have to do. They are the better team.
Well, it was interesting watching the Rams yesterday because we were talking about last week when the Cowboys were at the Chargers there at SoFi Stadium, and there were so many Cowboys fans that the Chargers offense that they were having to use the silent count. Right. And that's the same thing that there were even more Steelers fans there at SoFi yesterday than the week before, Cowboys fans going against the Chargers. So first play, every time Stafford was in the shotgun, they had to do a silent count because the Steelers fans just totally took over SoFi Stadium.
So that's 2 in a row at SoFi that the visiting team took over the stadium because the Cowboys did take over that stadium.
Yeah.
California, they do it a little bit different. California,
yeah, right.
That's a melting pot. They just proves it is a melting pot, man.
Well, you got that right. Yeah. So let's go back. Oh, we'll do that next because we only got 2 minutes left in this deal.
You're the senior guy.
Anyway,
you should be able to do a show as long as you want.
I can just keep going.
Yeah.
Can I ask one thing since we've got just a couple minutes before the break? What did you guys think of the Eagles throwback jerseys last night, wearing the Kelly green and did it make you think of Jaworski and Harold Carmichael and Bill Berge and all those guys?
I thought there was something wrong with the color on my TV.
Really?
It was okay with me. I mean, it was okay. My wife was talking about it, hey, look at this green. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I kind of liked it, although I have heard.
It made them stand out.
Yeah.
It made them stand out, yeah.
It looked good. And it reminded me, I remember Danny White telling a story one time where he drops back and he's going through his progression and just needs to dump the ball off. And Bill Berge, the linebacker for the Eagles, intercepts him. He never saw him, losing his peripheral vision, and he's just going to get rid of the ball real quickly, and never saw Berge. And it's because those Eagles jerseys back in the day, 70s or late 80s, all that, it was the same color as the artificial surface, that kind of Kelly green, literally the same color as the AstroTurf there at Veterans Stadium. And so it literally blended in. And so when Danny's, looking away and then just dumps it off over here and doesn't fully look just in the peripheral vision, never saw a Berge. It's like, how'd you throw it to him? He's like, well, I never saw him because he blended in with the turf.
That's one thing about old Danny. He can make it right, can't he? He can make it right.
He wasn't worried about the helmet.
Danny, man, I love you, baby.
All right,
I love you.
Let's take this break, and then we will be right back on Mick Shots here at the SWBC
Mick Shot got on his coats to Kelly Green
studio.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas. I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
Rally Days, presented by SeatGeek, gives NFL fans an experience of a lifetime the day prior to Dallas Cowboys home games. This Saturday, October 28th, enjoy activities at Miller Lighthouse, get a behind-the-scenes tour of AT&T Stadium, and more. Visit AT&TStadium.com/rallydays for more information and to get your tickets today. It is so much fun to be out at those Rally Days, see all the families coming. There'll be some Rams fans there, too, so thank you to them for coming a day early and spending your money there in Arlington. But Rally Days, if you haven't been to one, I highly encourage you to come. You often get autographs from former players. There'll be some Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders out there giving autographs. And so, you can go online to AT&TStadium.com/rallydays for more information.
So they can only put so much of that interview on TV. Tell them what you were watching.
Was it Jonathan Allen?
Yeah.
Oh,
He threw. He threw. He just told them, they've been getting their behind kicked, and I guess it's because of it was the Giants. He said, same old stuff for 7 years. We've been getting it.
And he used the word stuff like 10 times.
Yeah, all that's not called for, but I guess when you're tired of it, and you just think you deserve better,
They had their offense just gave them no chance whatsoever. The Washington defense played pretty well yesterday.
Yes.
But Sam Howell, absolutely no time to throw the ball. He is on pace to being sacked more than any player in NFL history. So he's going to top Derek Carr by over 20. And Derek Carr. Now that was the Houston Texans' inaugural season. So there was a reason with an expansion team why your quarterback's going to get killed.
So glad
but
it's
ugly. It's ugly. David Carr.
Yeah,
just because he had taken such a beating.
That was not fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, which gets us back to where I was going to ask you previously.
Yes, sir.
We talked about offensive lines, which I think you agree with me. There's not enough offensive line to go around in this league. And
no.
Boy, if you get an injury, you're going to have problems. So, your analysis of what the Cowboys' offensive line did in the last two games, having the starting five back together for the first time.
They need work. They need to get healthy. Because it's alarming when I see people be able to just get onto Zach and make plays on Zach, and then that's kind of alarming. But I know what's wrong with the right tackle. He just needs to work. He's been hurt a whole year. And my left tackle, he's just an older gentleman. But they need to work. And I've always, y'all have heard me say it to the end. Everybody say best five. I say give me 5 above average guys that willing to work, willing to get in sync, and basically relatively healthy. And this line is not healthy, and they need work. And I hate to say this because I love that Zach Martin got paid. And Mick could tell you that's all I wanted him to do is to get
president.
Yeah, but all the continuity flew out of the window. when he missed those couple of weeks of training camp. It all flew out of the window. Then he came back and he got hurt early in the season. That's the reality of it. And we're still sitting right here at 4-2. We're fortunate. What these guys do this week here, the last week and this week, for us getting together, trying to stay healthy, it's gonna take us as far. I'm thinking that Coach McCarthy is going to see Dak from this past game, and he's going to like, hey, Dak, where's that guy been? The instinctive Dak that I've always felt he was. When he's his best, he's instinctive. You move him around, you let him move around, and I ain't saying running. Like I tell people, what happened to all of those options, the run-pass options, the bootlegs, all of these things, I'm not saying Dak can't read defenses, but give him a 1-2, throw it away, a run. That is when he's always been his best. And that's the Dak that I want. And that's the Dak that people are like, well, you grow over the years. Yeah, we grow. We find out he can do a little bit more of this. But it also tells you this is why we drafted him in the fourth round.
Can I want to go back to the offensive line one more time, because you talk about the lack of continuity, Zach missing time, and then, of course, Terrence at right tackle coming off the injury. How much is it that it's a different offensive line coach?
Yes, it is.
And then also McCarthy, you're still going to have some. It's mostly carryover, but there are a few differences with him. Are we seeing that as part of the equation?
It is. It is to a certain extent, but these guys here, when healthy, are athletic enough to do it. What Coach Solari is asking them to do. He's asking them to be physical. He still do a lot of combination blocks. These guys, when healthy, they can get out and run. They can trap. But the biggest thing is that your center is Tyler Biadasz. He's an above-average guy.
He was a Pro Bowler.
And what I mean by that is he's the type of guy that's serviceable. But when you're just a slightly above average guy, when you get injured, I mean, like his hamstring is hindering him.
Right.
Okay, now all that toughness and grittiness kind of go out of the window because you're thinking a little bit more than you normally would, whereas you just flow off the ball and you just did everything without thinking. Now you're thinking. That takes away that little bit of advantage you have. So we've not been solid in the middle. A lot of sacks has been coming in because Dak, the pocket has been collapsing down on him. So we're not playing good as offensive line, and this team is not going very far. If our offensive line can't stay healthy, and I'm not against putting T.J. Bass or the Riches, the awesome Riches or Doga. I'm not, if they need to be in there to get one of these guys truly healthy, let's get them in there now so we can make this run after Thanksgiving.
So do you attribute the offensive line to kind of the inability these last couple of games to run the football?
Yeah, we know who Tony Pollard is. I think we know who Rico Dowdle is. If there's a hole there or something, these guys gonna get in it now. So yeah, that is it, man. It started with the 49ers, fellas. They one-on-one beat us.
Yeah.
They weren't running no games and stunts and run blitzes. They lined up of four guys, two guys over the guard, two guys over the tackle, and they had Fred Warner in the middle. They beat us. And then a little bit of that happened even with the Chargers. They kind of got after us, and and I've always tried to maintain this, Miss Kristi and Mick. You're not strong because you got a great left tackle. That helps. We know we got a mainstay for 15 years, but what makes you strong is when you got a center and two guards, so you can run people around the horn, so your quarterback can step up and see what's going on in there. And he haven't been able to step up. A couple of times they almost beat the ball back there. So it's not going well right now. But I just believe if these guys get healthy and they continue to stay healthy and play together, they'll be okay.
All right, let's go to Scott in Jersey. Scott, you're on with Mick Shots.
Hey, Mick Shots, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Long-time listener. I miss Bill Jones. Kristi, I listened to you for 20 years because that's how we listened to the game with Brad Chan. So it's nice to finally see you, out and about. But I just want to know, my question is, we're always grading the players at this time, how they do, Cora. Really grade our coach. And I'd like you guys to grade what do you think McCarthy's doing, because some of the decisions, and even this year, last year, they're very questionable. Going forward, last week, it was just a couple of bad calls I think he makes. I just would like to know, how do you guys feel how our coaching is doing this year? And I just want to say, as Everson Walls would say, go Cowboys always. Thank you for the call, and kill 'em Cowboys.
I wanted to ask him which plays that he miscalled.
The one, I assume you mean going into the half where there was 8 seconds and he let it go down to 3 seconds. Scott, I bet that's one of them that you're referring to. And thank you for listening all these years to Cowboys Radio. We appreciate you. But that one, I was standing right behind McCarthy on the sideline. He was down at about the 25 or 20-yard line. And so and he was talking with the down judge and pointing at the clock, the game clock, as it was going down. It was field level there in the end zone. So all along he wanted it to go to 3 seconds. And he was playing it conservative. There's no question about that. But it's what he said a couple times last week and even kind of hinted at it earlier in the season, that he feels that the strength of this team is the defense. And so he's going to play to the strength of the team. And but I was mildly surprised. I mean, I would have stopped at 8 seconds and tried to take at least one shot at the end zone through the air, because you had plenty of time to do at least one pass play and then still have time for your field goal.
See, everybody, remember when it was 4th and 1 and they went for it and didn't get it? Mm-hmm. I wanted them to kick a field goal then. If the strength of this team is your defense, and these guys play better with a lead, give that defensive lead. Give that defensive lead and make that other coordinator prove to you that they can come through this. And I'll wait till maybe after Thanksgiving, because it all starts for me. After Thanksgiving, then I'll start looking at his play calling. Your offensive line, and I hate to keep repeating it, but you finally get your offensive line back together. We finally figuring out who C.D. Lamb is, who Cooks is, and everybody like, well, you had that. You know what? I understand, but I'll start making all these judgments after the Thanksgiving game. That's because now you'll either be in the mix of this thing, or you'll be out of this thing, or you'll be trying to crawl back into it. So I just want to see as it goes on because I don't think it's going to come down to Coach McCarthy. I think it's going to come down to offense.
Yeah.
On that play sequence, here's where I thought they made the mistake. They had a 2nd and 10 at their own 29. There was 55 seconds left. They completed the 23-yard pass to C.D. Lamb. Mm-hmm. Now it's 1st and 10 at the Chargers' 48, 50 seconds left. Mm-hmm. And when they ended up completing a pass to Gallup for 11 yards, well, now you're in field goal range for sure. But the next time they snapped the ball, 27 seconds left. They let 23 seconds off the clock. 23. Could have called timeout. You had 2 timeouts left, right? And then you would have had more time when we got to your scenario, when it was 1st and goal at the 8. You would have had much more time left to be able to try to take a shot at the end zone. But there was no reason to let 23 seconds run off the clock. That's what I thought.
Well, I think that what Scott and other fans and media, why it stands out so much is that decision to be conservative there at the end and settle for the field goal was that it's atypical of what we'd seen McCarthy do the first 3 years here. He's the one that's going for it on 4th and 3 at the plus 45 with however much time on the clock. Had been so aggressive with his play calling on offense. And of course, he wasn't calling the plays; it was Kellen Moore. But it's still his decision on whether to go for it on fourth down, and has been so aggressive. But this year, it's more like putting on the brakes. So it tells you what he thinks about his own offense. So I would say that Nate has Coach has a lot of the same concerns as you and Mickey do.
But the only thing with complimentary football is when your defense is giving up 42 points, you better put your foot on the gas pedal.
Yeah, but I'm with you on that. I hate that, but that ain't the only game in town, Mick.
I know.
Yeah, people, I'm going to tell y'all something. Y'all either going to put y'all eyes on that one redwood at a time, or that big oak going to fall on you. That 42 nothing, whatever it was, going to fall on you every week. You got to let that go. You didn't cut that tree all the way down. It's still hanging. Don't let it fall on you because you just sitting there wondering when it's going to fall. Just keep playing. You got about 6 or 7 more redwoods you got to cut down? Yeah, let's go to work. I mean, right now you're 4-2. And we had an ugly loss. Let that ugly loss go. I mean, that's just life.
You're right there with Quinn when he talked to the players about not looking back.
Yeah.
And he used the Usain Bolt analogy. When you're running a 100-meter dash, you're not looking back. You're looking straight ahead.
Yes.
And you're right. I got you.
How many games we got left?
11.
11. You got 11 games left. And that was the big scare for me. And, I said, what if we don't win the 49ers game? How are we going to let help our players recover and be the best they can be? Because I think the players put more on themselves than the coaches did. The coaches realized that bad thing can happen. So they know they got to continue to coach and to continue to improve and to help the player. But when that's why – a lot of times, people didn't like Jimmy because he would shut us down. He would verbally shut players down. Like, hey, man, you're talking too much. Mm-hmm. And now that don't work in today's society. And just where young Parsons just would not let it go. I mean, he just took it way too far. And so that kind of lingered right on into the San Diego game. And you kind of saw that lingering effect on them early in the game. And they had to pull themselves together, and I'm glad they did.
And with that, it is 12:49, so we can't linger any longer. We have to move on. Kristi, Nate, thank you for joining me. It was a fine mixed shot.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we should be back with Everson, Savannah, and myself, while Bill is either doused with champagne tonight or tears. One of the
Let's
two.
hope he's wringing out the champagne from his shirt.
Yes, absolutely. And that's it for Mick Shots here at the Star in the SWBC podcast studio for a Monday afternoon.
Deliver Mick paper on time, whoever you are.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!